What is your immediate feeling in response to the coronavirus and the environment that we are in with it?
My immediate response would be fear, and I'm not necessarily scared for myself. I'm more scared for my family members because I have family members that are immunocompromised, so like they have higher risks. Like cancer patients have a higher risk, and I have quite a few family members that are undergoing treatments for cancer. So like it does make me a little nervous for them, but so far everyone's been healthy, so that's good. How about you? What is your immediate feeling towards the coronavirus?
I thought that it started to get serious when businesses and like grocery stores started running out of essential things. And I wasn't really expecting school to close when it did. And even when it did, I was like, I just kept going about my life for a couple days. And then everything started to close and shut down. And I started getting really scared. And I was like, this is serious. We need to take this serious. So now I'm like in my house, just trying to social distance. So, describe 3 situations that stand out to you from the videos that you watched.
One of them that stood out to me was how Italy surpassed China with the amount of deaths they've had so far. I find that very interesting, but I feel like that could be due to like Italy's high tourist rate because I feel like Italy is like a very big branch off in Europe that people use to travel through. So like when you like travel, you go to one spot and then you go all over. So I feel like that could be a reason. But I thought it was really interesting that they were saying that nurses actually stopped counting the deaths because it's that crazy over there. And I feel like that's even more scary because if we're having these numbers reporting how high they are already, the numbers could be way higher and we have no idea how serious it actually is. And one thing that I found very reassuring was that there's groups that are trying to provide lunches for children because there are some children who, when school was closed, they don't get meals anymore because their families can't afford it. And I thought it was very comforting to see communities like banding together because in this time of need, like not a lot of people have anything. And it was really nice that I saw people making sandwiches for students that couldn't have it otherwise. So for you, what were 3 situations that stood out to you?
So, on March 17th, Bernie Sanders outlined like a coronavirus emergency plan, and it basically entails giving every US household $2,000 a month and like extending evictions and like utility shutoffs if they're not like paying their bills on time. And it also includes like expanding healthcare. So I thought that that could be helpful to people. And then another thing I saw was that the mayor of New York City said that he might have to ask all of the residents of the city to stay in their homes because they're predicting that they're going to need like 50,000 to 100,000 hospital beds, but they only have 53,000 hospital beds in the whole city. So that was like pretty shocking to me that they were even considering closing a huge city like New York. And also that researchers are predicting that without like a big action done, 2.2 million people living in the US could be killed by coronavirus. And that's basically just because of a lack of tests and medical supplies like the masks and gloves and stuff. And I think that's probably a big problem that needs to be
Even that,
addressed.
the masks that they have, they need N95 masks and they're not getting those. They're getting like the flimsy ones.
Exactly.
So even the masks that they have, not all of them are up to standard. So the nurses that are working are getting sick.
Exactly. It's scary.
So how are you and your loved ones affected by the coronavirus?
I'm affected because I don't get to go to nursing school and like get that hands-on practice that I need. I work at a gym, so I don't get to go to work. My sister's school is closed, and my mom is out of work now. She's a teacher. So as of now, it's like 2 weeks, and I don't know, it could be the whole year. And my dad is like, he might have to close his company. So it's just like everyone's losing so much money due to this, and I just feel so bad. How about you?
It's just been a little weird because I'm very paranoid about it, just because a lot of there's well, statistically they say people are less likely to show like their symptoms. So for me, I'm very cautious when it comes to this. So I haven't seen my grandparents. Thankfully, I was able to teach them how to use FaceTime. So I can FaceTime me because they live down the street. But we've been doing grocery shopping for them and just leaving it outside. But like I spent a lot of my time there, but I haven't gone in the last 2 weeks just because I am nervous. And everyone in my family's like, "You're fine." And I was like, "No, like you don't know. You don't know who's fine." So
Hmm.
it's just I think that like not only is my family affected, like it's like all your friendships because some people don't think it's as serious as it is, and other people are taking it with like really seriously. And it's I think that we all need to understand the severity of it because I haven't been in 2.5 weeks, which has been very boring, just staying at home. But
Hmm.
it's necessary because I don't understand what going out for a day and having a few minutes of fun, like, what is that really worth? Like, I'd
Exactly.
rather stay home. Like, I've seen people that I'm friends with go on trips within the last few days. Like,
That's insane.
after all this is going on, like, they flew to Florida. Like, I see people in Australia right now. Like, I just don't understand, like, why you'd still be continuing to do this. So I mean, like I just personally affected my family because I refuse to see anyone outside my parents just because I don't want to risk hurting anybody. How do you think we could respond in a better way to the coronavirus?
Um, well, basically everything you said, like us, our generation can respond better by staying inside, not like going to party with your friends and using this as an opportunity to hang out with people or like take an extra trip because like you may not be in as much danger, but you could be hurting other people and you don't know if you're exposed to it.
Yeah,
So I think that's probably the most important thing for all of us right now. How about you?
I think the same. Like I thought it was just very unsettling that like it took the government to shut down like bars and clubs and stuff for people in our generation to actually realize that like we're the reason this will continue and we're the reason that this will stop.
I
Because
know.
the elderly really don't venture out a lot. Like, yes, they are the ones that are going to hit mostly by this virus, but it's because we are the carriers of it. We're the ones going far with 100 plus people in it. Like, we're the ones that are still in self isolation, still having people at our house. Like, people are using this as an opportunity to have people over their house and hang out. And it's like, because like there's no school, but it's like the whole point of self isolation is to be by yourself, not in
Mhm.
a huge group. So I think that there's still a long way to go with our generation, but I have seen it since the government has been cracking down.
Me too.
But I just think that it's very scary that it's taking the government taking so much action for people to actually take this seriously just because like we don't want to end up like the other countries like how like Italy's literally having to choose who gets ventilators and who doesn't. Like
Mhm.
that to me is like scary because like what if you were on the other end of that? Like you don't ever want to have to be put in a position where one of your family members has to be picked between somebody else's. Like you never want to be in that position. So I
Right.
just think that individually, like we need to all understand that it's not about ourselves. We need to think about others.
Mhm.
And I think that we'll be able to get through this if we continue with the self isolation because I just think that if we all actually stick to it and people traveling, I understand that discounted flights are very tempting. It's like $60 to fly anywhere you want, but what is it worth? Like you're just going to continue to spread this virus and it's going to be mayhem in the country.
Mhm. Okay. Well, that's all we have.
Thank you